It's the B-hole. What's up, everybody? The B-hole number 16 coming at you guys live. Yeah, man, episode 16. I'm on a fucking roll, dude. I'm glad I have some listeners. It's definitely nice to know that people enjoy listening to me talk shit for a while. I would have never thought I'd actually make a name for myself doing this, you know. I remember, you know, I remember back when I was in high school. I remember when I was in high school, and I used to want to be a cop so fucking bad. I wanted to be a police officer. I kind of forget like how I got into it. Like, I got into fighting because my little brother Clayton, he's 7 years younger than me, was all into UFC, and honestly, like, I didn't even give a fuck at the time. I didn't care about UFC. I wasn't interested in watching fighting. I thought it just didn't interest me. But then for whatever reason, I got obsessed, and I knew that I wanted to join the military when I was younger, because I couldn't have a job, because I couldn't get a job rather, and I wasn't interested in going to school. And then I wanted to be a cop. I don't even remember why. I've always seemed to be attracted to these like tough positions, like these not military, but like dangerous professions that people have respect for. And I think one of the reasons that there's been this side of me for like my whole adult life, like trying to go for things like a cop or military or firefighter or, you know, fighter, and I actually tried to be pretty much all those things. Now, let me just slow down here. I used to want to be a police officer, like, very badly. Like, when I was around 17 or 18, for whatever reason, I got this idea in my head that I was just going to be a cop. Even though I was smoking weed, I was a fat fuck at the time. And, yeah, so I was I think a senior in high school, so I would have been like 18. And what I started doing is I started like reading about what it's like to be a cop, like what the job's like, and I wasn't trying to hear all that bullshit about paperwork. Like, of course, I wanted action, and not so much action, but for whatever reason back then, like, I wanted people to know that I wanted to be a cop, or I wanted people to think that I was associated, because I guess I wanted that respect. Like, you know how you see these people online, they'll be, what do they call that shit? It'll be like a dude, what's that called when they, stolen valor. When you see a guy and he's wearing like a military uniform, but he's not in the military, he's never served. I mean, it was almost like that when I used to want to be a cop. Like, I didn't tell people I was, but I wanted to think I wanted people to think I was, and it was really fucking messed up what I used to do. Like, I used to do some pretty dangerous shit just because I was crazy, and you guys can maybe figure out why I used to do this, because I don't even know why. But I grew up in Winchester, Virginia, for the most part, and this one section of the town, well, pretty much like all of downtown, was kind of old and shitty. But there was one part where it was mostly black people, and I didn't go there because it was black people. I used to go there because it was known as the poor area, that there used to be a lot of cops in, and I would also go into like poor white neighborhoods too. And what I used to do is I used to have a Jeep Wrangler, a red Jeep Wrangler, and I would basically cruise through these neighborhoods acting like I was an undercover cop, just to fuck with people. Like, in hindsight, it's like, not only is it, hold on. Shit, sorry guys. Not only is it like just messed up, but dangerous. Like, somebody could have got mad at me and like shot me or beat my ass. Like, I even had this dude, I was going down this alley and I was by myself in my mother's car. My mother used to drive this SUV, like this Mercury Mountaineer SUV, and I used to drive that because it kind of looked like it could be like an undercover cop car. And I used to do that where I would drive around like just neighborhoods and shit, and I would like look at people like I was a cop, and like drive all slowly and like park and sit there and like, dude, I was crazy. Like, I used to want to be a cop so bad that I used to impersonate cops, essentially. And then finally I got to do police ride-alongs. Like, I would go to the Winchester City PD. I would go downtown, and I would I would fill out the application, and I'd sign up to do the police ride-along. And what that was is I got to go in the morning, and basically I got to spend the day with a cop, and I got to see how they spent their day. And I was with about three different cops. I did it maybe like 4 or 5 times. And I was with a few different cops, and they were all pretty different people, man. They were all pretty different people. And like the first day I did it, I was with this cop. His name was Officer Gaither, and he was the only black cop, like, for 50 miles. Like, not even in the county or the next county. Like, he was the only black cop, like, ever in Winchester, probably. And, he was cool as fuck, but, so we're in his car, and we're cruising around. He's like, all right, man, you want something to eat? You hungry? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I'm thinking, like, we're going to go sit down and get, like, a decent meal. But we go to fucking McDonald's. And literally every cop I was with 3 or 4 different police officers over the course of a few months during these ride-alongs. And literally every time they ate, it was fast food. It was like Wendy's burgers or fucking McDonald's or pizza or any of that shit. And dude, well, no, I take that back. I was with this guy, Officer Perlick. And he was a younger guy. He was like the good-looking, handsome young cop that all the chicks wanted to bang, and secretly some of the dude cops, like some of the older male cops, like wanted to bang him in the butt, of course. But he actually took care of his diet, and it showed. Like, he was the only guy in the police force that had like any kind of muscle tone or any kind of like posing presence. Because like a lot of these cops, man, the only thing that makes them intimidating, the only thing that they do to command respect is have a gun, and they also have backup, and they happen to have guns as well. So like, if you're going toe to toe with a lot of these guys don't have any kind of fight training. They're not even in good shape, and they only typically have to take one physical fitness test. And it's like, I remember when I did my police test for this police department in Virginia, I had to do a PT test, but I never got to that point, obviously, and I'll get to that. But I remember it said that you only had to be able to bench 44% of your body weight. Bench press 44% of your body weight. So at the time, I probably weighed about 200 pounds. So that means I only need to be able to bench what? I'm no mathematician here, but what is that, like 90-some pounds? Like one time? They said that my max rep had to be 44% of my weight. Of my weight, it said. Of my body weight. And I weighed, so yeah, like 90 pounds. Like, that's insane. Like, shouldn't cops have to be strong as fuck, man? I just was very disappointed, I guess, in just the physical conditioning of police, man. I mean, it's unreal. Like, these guys do have to get in foot chases, and they're already spending most of their day sitting on their ass, doing paperwork, trying to find people speeding or whatever. And like nothing, like I probably did about 4 or 5 ride-alongs with the cops there, and I'm trying to think what the most exciting thing was that happened. I mean, probably, dude, I think the most interesting, I'm really trying to think here, like the most interesting thing that we did was probably walk under the train tracks and find empty Listerine bottles. Like we found one drunk guy, he was behind a grocery store drinking, and that was it. And dude, it totally opened my eyes up to like, I don't know if I want to be a cop, or at least here. And the first police department I tried out for was the Prince William County Police Department. I think I actually mentioned this in one other b-hole. And, I wanted to try it out, and I did really well on the written test, like the exam. But then when it came time to fess up about drug use, that's when I did not get the job. And my grandmother at the time, on my mother's side, my grandmother and grandfather lived in Prince William County, Virginia, and they had always lived there. That's where my mother grew up. That's where my mother's family grew up, is in Prince William County, VA. And in case you guys are wondering, Prince William County, stuttering like a motherfucker, god damn it, is just south of DC. So it's like in between Quantico Marine Corps Base and like Washington DC and the Pentagon and all that. So it's pretty much where like the city meets the country, sort of. And my grandmother, rest in peace, was dying at the time. She had cancer. And I remember when I went to her house with my brother, she had no hair. She was just maybe a couple months away from, dying. And we pretty much all knew it. Like, she was towards her last days for sure. And yeah, so she asked me about test. She asked me if I got the job because she knew how much I wanted to be a cop at the time, and everybody knew. Trust me, I made it a big deal to everybody. Like even everybody in my high school knew I was like wanted to be a cop. Everybody who knew me and who knew them wanted they all knew I wanted to be a fucking cop. So I tell her that I don't get accepted, and she says, "Why did you fail the test?" And I'm like, "Nah, because I told them that I used to smoke pot." And it's her, my grandfather, myself, and my brother, and we're just there. And she just starts going off on me like, you're such a loser, you're such a disappointment, I can't believe that you messed up this opportunity because you wanted to abuse drugs and all this, and going off and like just totally talking down to me. Called it like, she didn't call me a piece of shit, but she made me feel like one. And even though she was dying and I knew that it was coming soon, I was like, I actually was like, you know what, fuck this bullshit, I don't need this bullshit right now. And I just walked up out of there with my brother. And yeah, so, and also, like I couldn't get in because of my tattoos as well. I had forgot to mention that. So she was bitching at me because I had tattoos. She said, "Well, why'd you get tattoos? You're fucking your life up. See what you've done, and you're smoking pot. You're turning into a loser." And she's like, she says something like, like my mother's disappointed in me, or like my parents should be disappointed in me for this. And so we had a family reunion a few weeks later, and I hadn't talked to her and like up until then, and I saw her at the reunion, and we kind of kissed and made up. And she was almost gonna die at this point. Like she was a few days away from it, and it was even so bad that like she shit her pants there in front of everybody. She couldn't help it, man. I mean, it was so bad. Like she was diagnosed with, I think, brain cancer and lung. I mean, stomach. Like it was her whole body, and they had money and they tried to get the best treatment available. But from the time she was diagnosed to the time she passed on, I mean, it was, I think, less than a year. And it was like the transformation, and not in a good way, was so rapid and so just obvious to everybody. And so we made up, and then I visited her another day in her home in Prince William County. And I remember that as my brother and I were about to leave, I gave her a big kiss. I told her I loved her, and I told her I'll see her soon. And then about an hour or so later, my brother and I get home, and of course it's a rainy, cloudy day. And as my brother and I are approaching the front door, inside the house, I hear my mom screaming, saying, not really saying anything, just screaming. And then my brother and I look at each other, and we both confirm. I mean, we both just say, yeah, she's dead, and yeah, she was, man. So I guess the reason I'm bringing that up is because when I applied for the Prince William County Police Department, that was a big disappointment for her when I didn't get it. And I also brought it up because I would love for my Grammy to see where I am now. And even though I never became a cop, and I never got married or any of that shit, and I never went to college like she wanted, or I think what she wanted at the end of the day was for me to be happy. Obviously, as corny as it sounds, she just wants me to be happy. And it's true, but I guess her idea of what happiness isn't my idea. And anyways, I'm flourishing in life now, and I'm doing things that I never dreamed I would have ever even attempted. So, Grammy, if you're listening, I fucking love you. I miss you. And damn, dude, she made the most bomb ass food, dude. God damn, she made some bomb ass food, and she gave the best back scratches ever. And I digress. So shout out to my Grammy. I love you. I miss you. And then I tried to be in the military, and there were even times where I wanted people to think I was in the military, like even though I wasn't. Like I lived in Atlanta, Georgia, and my friend Josh, who I've mentioned several times in this show, shout out to Josh. His dad was in the Air Force, and Josh is currently in the Air Force, but wasn't at the time that we lived in Atlanta. Anyways, I had this Camelback, this camouflage like military Camelback, and a Camelback is like one of those backpacks that you can drink water from. It has like the rubber hose, That shit was awesome, especially down in hot Atlanta where it's hot as balls all the time. This black dude walks up to me, and he's like, "Hey man, did you serve?" I'm like, "Yeah, I served." And like, as soon as I said that, I'm like, oh, what did I say? I've never served in the military. Why did I just say that? Because I had it in my head that like, yeah, I'm I'm a soldier. Like, dude, I used to be such a fucking weirdo. And he's like, so what was your MOS? And I freeze. I'm like, fuck, dude, I don't know what MOS means. Fuck, like I'm about to be found out. And I'm like, what's that? And he's like, he stares at me like I'm an idiot. He's like, man, what was your job, man? And I'm like, oh man, I was military police. He's like, oh okay, okay. And then he just kind of walks away. And I'm just like, oh my god, dude, like, why did I tell him that I was in the service? Like, I need to stop, like, pretending that I'm gonna join the military one day. And then, you know, I did get into fighting, and I actually did okay with the fighting. I never lost any fights. No, granted, I never got, like, super amazing or anything. I never got super high level, but my goal was to. And, you know, I broke my hand trying, and I'm fucking glad I tried, and I'm very proud of that. But back to what I was saying, like, I seem to be, how should I put this? I seem to sometimes I want people to think that I'm like a tough guy, I guess. And like what I mean is, like, I used to want to be a cop, so I wanted people to think I was a cop. Like, I wanted to appear to be a cop. I wanted to appear to have that power, that authority. When I wanted to be in the military, I wanted people to think that I was either, like, going to join or was training or something, because I wanted people to have that respect. Like, this guy's tough, he's a badass, he's brave, he's got a set of balls. And then when I was a fighter, granted, I actually did do it, I still wanted everybody to know it, because I wanted that, so what am I trying to say here? Like, I wanted that, what's the word? Fuck, I wanted to be, like, to be perceived in a certain way, and I think it comes back to me being gay. I think it comes down to my sexuality, like, not admitting to myself that I am, I guess, and that, like, actually what I'm into, and not what I want people to think I'm into. Like, I want people to think that, or I used to want people to think that I was a cop, and then of course I was straight, and I like pussy, and blah 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 blah, and all this type of shit, and a lot of guys do that, right? And but does that mean that there can't be gay cops, that there can't be gay tough dudes? No, of course not. It's just a matter of not accepting yourself and not loving who you are. And I still have issues with that, man. But now that, like, I've kind of come out of the closet, you could say, because, like, in the last couple videos I put up on No Joke Howard and the last few b-holes I put out, like, I've been pretty vocal about the fact that I'm gay, I guess, and I'm doing it because I need to. I'm talking about it because I need to, for me. Because since I've been 20 years old for the last 8 years, I haven't been. And I tell some people, like my mom and my dad and my brother, and I tell maybe my best friend, but that's it. I don't even tell myself, and I don't even have sex. So for all you people wondering out there, oh, like, No Joke Howard's out there sucking all these dicks and taking up the butt or whatever, like, well, no, I'm not. I actually really don't have sex at all. Like, you know, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I'm still trying to deal with the fact that I don't like what I told myself I liked my whole life, and that it's just I don't know, like, it's tough, man, but I'm glad that I'm taking small steps and being comfortable with who I am. And, you know, I don't give a fuck if people think I'm a fighter. Like, I don't care if people think I'm not a good kickboxer or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm gay and I'm tough and I'm not a pussy and I will fight you, and I know how to fight you, and you know, so I guess I'm just happy and I'm just glad that I don't feel the need to radiate this toughness, this air of toughness anymore, because I know I'm tough. My fucking actions and my history and my doings in life prove my toughness, not what I say. Anyways, man, I was dude, this makes me think of something. Like I said, I used to really want to be a cop, and my job at the time was a pizza boy. I was a pizza boy, and I worked for Papa John's Pizza, and the neighborhoods that I would go into to pretend I was a cop, sometimes I had to go there as a pizza boy in my Papa John's uniform. So what I would do is I would either take off my car topper, because I had to wear a fucking gay-ass car topper on my Jeep, like so everyone saw I worked with Papa John's, and people would sometimes spot me out. They'd be like, hey man, what the fuck, you know, like they'd be mad at me because they're like, you're trying to impersonate a cop and you're a fucking pizza boy, dude. But then sometimes what I would do is I was so nervous to go there because I thought I would be found out that I was doing that shit. I'm not even sure what the term is, but like impersonating a cop, like I wasn't going around saying I was a cop. I was just driving around just like trying to appear to be an undercover agent or some shit. It was so crazy, dude. And I worked at Papa John's at the time, and dude, I fucking hated there, man. I fucking hated working there. My manager's name was CJ, and he was this big Korean American guy. He was this Korean dude, but he grew up in the States. So he was all like broed out, and he was jacked. He was this jacked Asian, like Korean guy. Total douche. Total fucking douche. And I used to scratch my ass a lot because when I worked there and when I was that age, I used to be overweight. I used to be very overweight, and I used to get an itchy ass crack. So what I would do like all the time is I would literally dig into my ass crack because I had a pretty fat booty at the time. I had a pretty plump booty, so like to get in the ass crack, I had to go like knuckle deep to even get the butthole, man. That's right, y'all. I was working with a bubble butt, and they started calling me Diggums. It was funny. It was fucked up because like they would make fun of me for scratching my ass, but like I literally had to scratch my ass, and like yeah, it is kind of gross, especially if I'm working in a restaurant where I have to make people food and like handle their food. But they knew I wanted to be a cop, so they started calling me Sergeant Diggums. That shit was funny. They'd be like, "Hey, Sergeant Diggums, we got a run for you." So like on the pizza box, they would put down the person's name, like whose delivery it was, so it'd be like fucking Zach or Billy or Cassie, and then they put Sergeant Diggums down. Hey, Sergeant Diggums, you got to take this out here, man. It was so fucking funny, dude. I actually ended up quitting that job because my boss CJ, he was such an asshole to me because he knew he could be. Because I mean, like, granted, this was past the point where I got bullied. Like I had already been in fights at this point, and I already been standing up for myself when I was 18. But obviously, at a job, like I'm not gonna get into a fight at my job because to me, I'd rather just quit. Like in school, I can get into a fight because I know I'm gonna be going back to school. But like, if there's somebody at my job and it gets to the point where I want to fight you, when I'm gonna like really want to punch you in your face, I'm just gonna quit. Like it's not that serious. Like I'm not gonna go to jail because my job sucks. I'll just quit the fucking job. So rather than getting into a fight with this guy and possibly getting my ass kicked, by the way, like he was a big ass dude, and I didn't really know much about fighting at the time. Like I just knew how to brawl and like kind of wrestle a bit. But he probably would have kicked my ass. I'm like to be 100% honest. Either way, it would have been bad. But we were in the walk-in freezer counting cheese. We were counting boxes of cheese, doing inventory, and he takes an empty cardboard box, and rather than saying, "Hey man, would you mind throwing this away?" he takes it, puts it, he holds it in front of me, and then as I'm going to reach for it, he drops it and continues to check boxes off on the clipboard. So I pick it up, and I made up my mind. I'm like, okay, after tonight's shift, I'm just not coming back. So I didn't. I never came back. I found a new job a week later, directly across the street. Literally, I could see the Papa John's at the other pizza shop I was delivering at. And that whole time, I wanted to be a cop too. Like, I had this delusion that I was like this cop, even though I was like a pothead, a musician, and I fucking didn't even like cops. And I went on ride-alongs with these guys, and I saw how bland their personalities were, and how miserable a physical condition that these guys end up in, and cops typically get divorced. I mean, I knew a police officer, he was a Virginia State Trooper in our neighborhood we used to live in, and he fucking killed himself. Like, some of these guys kill themselves. Like, it's just being a cop, dude. Like, I'm so glad I never did that shit. I'm so glad I never became a cop, dude. So, yeah, dude. But I think that me, like, associating my identity to these types of positions that are like quote unquote dangerous or like manly, like a cop, a firefighter, soldier, fighter. I think that I've wanted people to have that perception of me because I don't want them to think I'm a pussy. And I guess where I'm at now is I don't think people think I'm a pussy. I mean, some people might say that. I don't think like, I'm not. And even if people do, I guess, I'm at the point now where, well, fuck them anyway. Like, it's actually to my advantage to be open about what I like. because then people who I might actually be attracted to might actually know that now. So if I come out publicly saying that I like men, saying that I like pre-op trans women, like pre-op like women with cocks, like my favorite gender is like a beautiful woman with a nice fat cock. Like that's like my dream gender, I guess. Cuz I like women, I don't like pussy. I don't really like men that much, like their bodies and shit, and like their fucking beards and shit. But I like cock, so I like women with cock. So that's pretty much what I'm into. And the fact that, and I like guys too, but I'm not so much into pussy, and I'm gonna stop pretending like I am, and I'm just really fucking proud of myself, I guess. Hey, I'm so brave. Oh my god, congratulations. No, I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it because I need to be comfortable in my own skin, and I know I'm gonna lose some fans for being honest about it, but I know I'm also gonna gain some fans and support. And like I said, if I'm open about it, then maybe even people who I'm attracted to will come into my life and come my way, because I'll be putting that out there, and I can inspire other people to not give a fuck about what people think. But thankfully, I'm in a position where nobody's gonna kill me. Like, there's some parts of the world where if you say you're gay or even maybe joke like you are, like, they might very well kill you. I know in certain countries, man, like in Africa, like Christian or even Muslim countries, I mean, dude, they'll fucking kill your ass. They'll fucking kill you. In America, you're safe for the most part. Like, some people might talk shit, but no one's gonna beat you up typically. Here in Cambodia, it's really not a big deal. I've never heard of anybody really like being beaten up. The only time I've heard of like a pre-op transgender being beaten up for being a ladyboy or whatever you want to call is for tricking somebody. Now, something I want to say about that about like ladyboys is like I think it's fucked up if they trick a guy, but on the other hand, I think that any guy, dude, is gotta know, man. I mean, like, there's always ways to tell. I mean, I've seen some beautiful trans women out there, like my ex-girlfriend Shiva, like, she's fucking gorgeous. Naturally, just so fucking beautiful. And I see these beautiful women hit me up on Instagram, these trans women, and, like, a lot of them are beautiful, but you can still kind of tell that they were, you can just look at them and just be like, okay, you're definitely born a guy, but you still look like a woman and you have the energy of a woman and you're still gorgeous. I mean, and like it's not a turnoff to me. It's just an observation. Like, there are things that you can see. But I guess my point is like there was this lady boy, I think in Thailand, who was, had sex with a man, and then the man, I guess afterwards, found out that it was not a real woman, and took the ladyboy's head and smashed it into the toilet until she was fucking dead. Which begs the question, it's like, well, how did the guy not know that it was, like, if he had sex with her, like, how could he not know there was a dick and balls there, first of all? And even if he did, why would you kill her, man? Why did they kill? I mean, I could see, like, wanting your money back or leaving or getting upset or maybe smacking her, but, like, killing her, like, brutally smashing their face, like, that is because he turned me into a homosexual. Like, what, like, being gay is so bad that you gotta kill somebody for that? Like I was talking to my dad one time about that, and he, like, was on the guy's side, kind of. And I even asked my father one time, I'm like, hey, Dad, like, do you ever acknowledge when a man is good looking? I'm like, this is a long time ago, like, because even straight guys, like, acknowledge when a guy's handsome. I think I talked about this in the show with Nick and Jay. I'm pretty sure we talked about, like, when you're with your girl, or even if you're with your boyfriend and you're a guy, like, if I'm with a guy, or even, like, my ex-girlfriend Chiva, and I see another dude walking in, he's, like, tall, he's got good hair, he's buff, he's got a handsome face, like, I automatically, on some level, feel a little bit, I don't want to say threatened, but I guess a little defensive, like, because I know that my girlfriend or my boyfriend is going to find him good looking. Is going to check him out, and like I automatically get insecure. But my dad is like, so he just won't say, he just wouldn't, he'd just be like, no, I've never even ever thought a man's attractive, even though he says I'm handsome, even though, dude, it's just, and I think it's because my dad has some internalized homophobia, and that means that You've got some homosexual urges that you got bottled deep down inside, and I honestly believe that. Like every time we'd watch a movie, my dad, not every time we watch a movie, every time we watch a movie where there's two guys kissing, my dad always goes out of his way to make it so obvious that he does not like it. He like wants everybody to know in the room. He's like, "Oh my god!" Like turn his head and like make puking sounds and cover his face like a little kid, and he'll do it like every time. And it, yeah, like I get it, you know, maybe seeing and to be honest, like when I see two guys kissing, typically like two big fucking hairy fat guys, like I don't like it either, man. I don't really, you know what I mean? Like that doesn't turn me on. So, but yeah, man, like there's just so many guys out there like that, and I even have some gay people in my family, man. Like I have two gay cousins. Who else is gay in my family? I have a gay great uncle. I don't know. I guess it really doesn't fucking matter. Like I said, guys, I'm just trying to talk about it, and obviously it's not going to be what I talk about all the time. I'm not trying to flaunt it, but I'm doing it for myself, so I'm comfortable in my own skin, and I feel like I have more power. And I'm gonna digress the fuck out, dude. Khmer people, you know what? Khmer people, even though a lot of times they can be sort of like stubborn and like stuck in their own ways and a little bit like maybe ignorant on certain things, which is fair enough. They're fucking nice. They're just nice, good people for the most part. I was walking. I actually just a couple hours ago I left my house and I just wanted to go on a walk. I'm kind of free for the night, and I really enjoy just walking around town. And I was in an area over near the Russian market, and I'm just walking down the street, and it's not uncommon for a group of Khmer guys who are drinking and having food and stuff to offer you a beer. They'll be like, "Hey, drink beer, drink beer." And normally, like, I don't really drink. And normally, pretty much, well, like always, in fact, when people do that, when the Khmer guys will offer me beer and stuff, like I always kindly refuse. I'll just be like, "Oh, acho chet, soko piba lao." And which means I don't like it, like it's not healthy, and you know it gives me a kind of a sore stomach if I drink too much. But this time I said fuck it, man. Like these guys, I don't know, like there's something nice about them, and they were like, "Oh, Chochinam Tamaya," which is like Happy New Year because it was just Chinese New Year, and it was a few Khmer guys, and I'm just sitting down with them, and they, you know, I have a couple cigarettes, whatever, you know, fuck it, and I started eating bong diakon, but you know, like they're asking me what I do here. Of course, like they always ask what you do, and I'm like, "Oh, Kyom Mao, Beachnam Howie," which means I came here 2 years ago, so that they knew. I always have to say that, like Mao Phnom Penh, Beachnam Howie, which means I came to Phnom Penh like 2 years ago, so people know that I'm not just some fucking dumbass tourist. Like they know I've been here for a while. They know I know how things work. They know I speak some of the language, and they were all impressed with my Khmer, and pretty much all of our conversation was in Khmer, except for some of it. I mean, so some of the shit the guy just keeps talking. He's like, he's like staring me right in the eye, just like moving his hands like he's explaining this deep shit. Just like, yeah, man, you know what I'm talking about? He's just like, and I'm just like, moi moi, which means like slow down. Can you speak like moi moi is like one at a time, and you could say that like che moi moi. And you know, I talked to them about how I came here to be a kickboxer, and they thought that was pretty cool. And he was like the guy I was talking to. He was like a shorter guy, but like really thick and stocky. He had like these big ass hands and wrists, and he was talking about my wrist, how I have thinner wrists, which is true. Like I'm not known for having big hands. I'm not known for having big wrists. I'm not known for, I guess, having a big frame in general. But he was telling me something like. He was telling me that his wrists are really good for fighting and all that. And he was saying that he was talking about how like the fighters in Thailand make so much more money in Cambodia, which is totally true. Like the kickboxers in Thailand make so much more money, even though the art of kickboxing came from Cambodia, at least Kun Khmer. Like it all came from Cambodia, and he was like, I don't know why, but Cambodia, they don't have good fighters anymore. They're mostly in Thailand, and I'm like, yeah. And he said, I don't know why. And then I thought about the Khmer Rouge. How Pol Pot was the leader in like he killed anybody that had any kind of talent, like anybody that was intellectually talented, physically, like for example, if you were a skilled martial artist, they would kill you because you were a threat. Like they saw you as somebody who could defend themselves, who could potentially overthrow or like be a threat. And so what I said to him, I'm like, so what about Pol Pot? Do you think it's because of Pol Pot? And he looks at me and he doesn't really respond. I'm like, yeah. So what about Pol Pot? Because like I thought he didn't hear me. And he's like, oh, Pol Pot. And then he stops talking and he gets kind of serious for a second, and like his eyes twitch, and then his bottom lip starts to quiver, and then he just changes the subject completely. And I'm just like, oh, dude, I'm sorry. Like that was my thought. I'm like, oh man, like that's a sensitive subject. I'm sorry, dude. Like I really did not think that. I didn't know it was that upsetting. I mean, I know, no, don't, I'm sorry. I know the Khmer Rouge is fucked up, but I didn't think that me bringing up the point of like, maybe there's not good martial artists here because a lot of them were killed in the Khmer Rouge. Like, you think that's why? So I'm thinking like maybe one of his family members was killed, or, I mean, that's very possible because here in Cambodia, man, they're kind of starting from the ground up. I mean, I talked to a lot of people who have been here for a while, like foreigners, like 10 years or more, and like this town just started picking up a few years ago. It just started picking up. Like in terms of construction and economy and commerce and traffic even, and population, well, not population, but like tourism and shit. And it's because like just 40 years ago, man, the Khmer Rouge was in power, and this city of Phnom Penh was fucking empty as shit. And all the Cambodians that were worth a damn got killed, and all the ones that were poor and uneducated got sent to work. And then those are the people that survived. So you have a whole bunch of people who basically are, I'm not saying that that's the case now, but Cambodia was left with a population that was pretty uneducated, pretty poor, and pretty like mentally damaged, like mentally scarred. So I guess when you bring up Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge, the Khmer are sensitive. And I even, I taught English, as you all know, and I taught like a long time ago, like a year and a half ago, and my class for the day, they did this field trip to Tuol Sleng, which is also known as S21, and Tuol Sleng Museum used to be it's now known as Tuol Sleng Genocide Museum, but it used to be a high school, and then when the Khmer Rouge was in power, they used it as a prison, basically, and they would keep them there until they were ready to be sent to the killing fields. And now it's a museum, and it's basically just, you could just walk through it. And I have not been there. I've been to the killing fields. I've been to Chong Ike in the killing fields, but that was crazy, by the way. But S21, they went there, and it's just pictures of all the prisoners that were killed there, basically. And so I go up in front of the class, and I think I'm being a good teacher by asking them to talk about their field trip. So I'm like, so I pull up a chair, and I'm like, hey, so how was Tuol Sleng? Can you tell me about something you learned about your history? And they don't talk. Like, they're all just quiet. And some of the boys and girls, like, they literally just start crying. They just start, like, they don't talk, but they're just, like, trying to hold it in. I'm just like, oh, like, okay, sorry guys. Okay, change the subject. I didn't know. I'm so sorry. Like I changed the subject, and then, but when I was talking to the guy today, like I thought that I was bringing up a good point, but I guess it was a lesson learned for me today. Like next time, I just won't bring the shit up, especially if I'm around older Khmer people. I think the older ones are a little more sensitive to it because they actually lived through it, or like their parents were killed, or they might have like been through that shit. So I guess in the future, I just won't bring that shit up. But anyways, man, I sat there. We had Bong Dia Kon, which is like the duck fetus. And he was telling me, oh, you have three, make your dick very strong, or you fuck 2 times, 3 times. You have Bong Dia Kon, very good for dick. And then then he's like, but I have very small dick. And I'm like, oh, dude, I'm sorry, man. Up on you. For some reason, the Khmer guys, some Khmer guys, like I've had this happen, like, literally, just randomly. Like a tuk-tuk driver will walk up to me and be like, hey man, I have a little dick, man. I have a little dick. What do? I don't know what to do. Like they'll tell me they have a little dick as if like I have the advice because I'm a foreigner. Like they assume I have a big cock or something. That like I'm gonna they're like I'm gonna have some advice for them like how to make it bigger. I guess because mine's bigger. Like my dick is not like I'm not gonna go around telling people or asking advice on how to make my dick bigger. Like because my dick is not small. Thank goodness. Thank goodness, bang dude made him bleed, did some ketamine, yeah. You know how to know if you're fucking somebody right, guys. Like if you want to test to see if your dick is small, here's how you test to see if your dick is small. If you're this could be if you're fucking a man or a woman, is if you're just fucking somebody. If you're fucking anybody and they're like making all kinds of noise, like oh my god, yeah, fuck me hard, oh yeah, oh my god, so good, oh my god, they're just like if they sound like a fucking slutty porn star, chances are they're faking it so you'll come faster so you can get the sex over with because they're not getting pleasure by you thrusting, like you just banging your hips against their ass or just whatever you're doing. So what they're going to do is try to act like it's amazing to turn you on and then make you come faster so the sex will stop. But if you're hitting it right and you've actually like you're working with kind of a piece, like if you've got I don't know, man. I mean, everybody's different, but I'd say anything under, like in terms of length, like anything under, I'd say 5 is small. Like you got a small dick. Like if your shit's 4 or 5, like 5 inches and it's kind of small. Mine is 6. Mine is 6. So I'm not packing by any means. I'm not packing, but damn sure not disappoint anybody, and I'm damn sure not making anybody go oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. The way to know if you're hitting it right is if they're making faces and take big deep breaths. If you're laying the dick and your partner, male or female or whatever the fuck, is taking big deep breaths and they're making faces and not really saying anything and just kind of taking it and like opening their mouth and making funny faces and their eyes are rolling around, then you're fucking he or she very, very, very well. But if they're just laying there and they're fucking moaning and saying, yeah, baby, oh, fuck yeah, daddy, oh my god, yeah, it's so big, oh my god, yeah, come, baby, then chances are they're probably not really enjoying themselves. Because guys, like when you're fucking and it's really good, like do you guys do that? Like I'm not like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm gonna get this fucking shit, yeah, oh, take this fucking dick, oh. No, I'm like into it, I'm like breathing heavy, I'm making faces probably, I'm probably making some dumbass weird faces. And yeah, so anyways, what the fuck else did I do? Yeah, oh man, yesterday I was very lucky. I got to watch the UFC event with my mother. So I'm gonna talk about UFC now. Enough about sex, enough about penises, enough about being a cop and Pol Pot and all that shit. How about the UFC, guys? So I watched the fight card with my mommy, and dude, what a fucking great fight card. Every fight that I saw, okay, so I didn't get to see the prelims. I just saw the main card because I don't get that on FS1. On Fox Sports 1 here in Cambodia, it's free, but only the main card. Anyways, the first fight I saw was Jason Knight versus Alex Caceres. Alex Caceres, his name is, they also call him Bruce Leroy. And apparently this guy, Jason Knight, I've never heard of this guy. I know Bruce Leroy, he's good. He just fought Yair Rodriguez and lost a decision. And then he just fought Jason Knight and got, I believe he got choked out, it was. He either got choked or armbarred. Something like that. And I know, like this guy Jason Knight, like I'm not gonna lie, I didn't want to like him. I like wanted to not like him, and here's why. First reason is by his fucking accent. He's this guy from Mississippi, and he literally talks like this all the time. You know what, man? I'm gonna come in here and do my job. I'm gonna pray to Jesus, and I'm gonna fucking whoop some ass, motherfucker. Like that is, I can't be your friend, dude. Like that is obnoxiously Southern. Now I know he would beat the fuck out of me for saying that, of course, but I didn't like. I wanted to not like him for that, and I wanted to not like him because he was talking about his father dying before the fight, and I normally don't. I don't like it when fighters go into the fight like, yeah, man, I'm doing this for my friend, my friend just died, and I'm going through some hard things right now, and I gotta win this fight, or and I guess I don't like that because like just fight for you. Don't try to get people to fucking feel bad for you and get pity points. Like what if you lose, dude? Don't even bring your dad into it. But what happened was apparently his dad died just 5 days before. Now I didn't know it was that soon. I thought it was like a long time ago, like maybe a couple of years ago or some shit. Like get over it, man. Like, yeah, it's his dad, but like for sure stop talking about it before your fight. But apparently it was just a few days prior, and he still took the fight. So man, props to Jason Knight. Like that is one bad motherfucker. And like in all honesty, like I'm just teasing about the accent. I mean, I have a bit of a southern accent, but there's nobody like him. And then after he won the fight, he actually gets down and he prays to Jesus, like ultra religious, ultra tough. And you know what, man? I'd be excited to see Jason Knight fight again. So he just beat Alex Caceres, and that was a featherweight fight, 145 division. So I'm trying to think who would be a good match next for Jason Knight, man. Maybe Yair Rodriguez just beat the fuck out of BJ Penn, and he beat Caceres via decision. Maybe Jason Knight versus Yair Rodriguez would be good. I personally think that Yair could take Jason Knight, personally. And then it was Andrei Arlovsky versus Francis Ngannou. Now this was sad as fuck, man. Like leading up to the fight, Andrei Arlovsky was doing these promos with UFC, like countdown to UFC, and be interviewing him, talking, like filming his training and about his fucking dog and all that. And he's basically just sitting down talking to the guy, and he's like, I'm basically saying like he's still in it to be champion. He's still trying to fight for the belt, and it's just, even before I saw the fight, I kind of thought that he was going to lose. I thought that he's one of these guys that has been in the game for so long, and he was champion at one point, right? Like a long fucking time ago, and he was a good heavyweight. Granted, he had kind of a questionable chin. I mean, he would often get knocked the fuck out a lot, but he also has some great knockouts of his own. But Andrei Arlovsky, man, I mean, people should learn from that. Like, look at BJ Penn. Except the difference between BJ Penn and Andrei Arlovsky is this: BJ Penn took a bunch of time off and then came back, and he got his ass whooped. You saw what happened. He couldn't even touch Yair Rodriguez. Andrei Arlovsky has been active, and I'm trying to I don't know exactly, but I know like the 3 fights before this last one he had a couple like yesterday. He lost, and he's been knocked out a lot. He got knocked out, let's see, by Stipe Miocic. He got knocked out by, who the fuck else knocked him out? Damn it, I totally forget. But he's been knocked out a bunch by punches, and he's taken damage for sure, man. And people should look at him and be like know when to stop, know when to stop fighting. But on the other hand, that's these guys' identity, man. Like Andrei Arlovsky has been, like, he's a lifer. This guy's been in the game for his life. He's always gonna be a fighter at heart. And then for him to just stop doing this, it's almost like taking a guy who's a Navy SEAL and he's like a combat junkie, like a guy like Jocko Willink, and telling him, okay, man, you can't do this anymore. You've got to be a teacher. You've got to work in an office now. You can't do combat. It's too dangerous for you. Like, that is a mind fuck for a lot of people. I mean, fuck. When I broke my hand and had to stop training boxing for a few months, I was depressed as fuck. I wanted to kill myself. Just because I couldn't train for a few months. Like, imagine if you're a guy like Andrei Arlovsky and you're actually like fighting at a high level and getting knocked out, and you get permanent brain damage, man. He went in the octagon against Francis Ngannou, who is this much, younger, more athletic, more just better built, bigger, stronger, faster, bigger athlete, just an all-around better fighter. And like, at least at this point now, if it was Andrei Arlovsky in his prime, I think there would have been a much longer fight at least. I mean, Ngannou still could have won, I'm sure, but yeah, man, Andrei Arlovsky couldn't touch Ngannou, and he looked super stiff, and Ngannou just landed a couple punches and knocked him. I mean, you guys saw what happened. He just took him out instantly. Now, Ngannou, am I impressed with Ngannou? No, I'm not. Now, Well, let me back up. I was a little too cutthroat on that one. Obviously, I'm impressed with Ngannou. I mean, the dude's a physical specimen. He's a major threat to the heavyweight division. But what I mean is, I I don't believe he's fought top competition yet to say he's one of the top heavyweights. Just because he beat Andrei Arlovsky, in my mind, that doesn't mean he's a top heavyweight. Andrei Arlovsky has been on the downfall of his career for a long time. He's gotten knocked out by plenty of guys who were no names. He's been knocked out, like I said, he got knocked out by Miocic, but he happens to be the champion now. Which also begs the question that Ngannou could fight for the title as well. So, I guess I'd like to see Ngannou fight a top guy now. I'd like to see him fight like a top 3 or 4 guy, because plus it'd be kind of cool to have, to see more Africans. That's something you don't see, like a whole lot of African guys in the UFC, and there's not a lot of Asians. It's mostly Americans, Brazilians. You got a lot of Russians. You got a lot of English, I guess, and maybe some Mexicans too. But yeah, dude, it was pretty sad to see Arlovsky get beaten, and I really hope he doesn't fight again. And I hope that some fighters take a page out of some of these other guys' books, like who the fuck did that? Actually, it wasn't an MMA fighter. It was a kickboxer, Joseph Valtellini. He's a glory kickboxer. Well, he was, and he actually was fucking great. He was an excellent kickboxer. And he decided to stop because of concussions and brain damage, and now he's got a sweet gig as a color commentator for Glory, so he just calls fights like Joe Rogan does, but instead of MMA, it's kickboxing, and that's fucking awesome for him. So, and then the next fight, oh boy, Donald Cerrone versus Jorge Masvidal. Now, I wanted to see a good fight, and it kind of was. I mean, Cerrone pulled off a few things, but Masvidal definitely dominated. I honestly, dude, before this fight even happened, I never even had heard of Jorge Masvidal. I'm 100% honest. I never even heard his name. I was super impressed. What I had heard about him was that he wasn't known for pulling the trigger, and he wasn't like a guy that would seal the deal in a fight. But well, he fucking proved his ass against one of the best fighters ever to walk the face of the earth, man, Donald Cerrone. And up into this fight, I think Donald Cerrone, I was watching the interviews with him, and he was underestimating this guy, Jorge Masvidal. I mean, it was clear. He was like, yeah, after I whoop Masvidal's ass, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and after I whoop his ass, I'm going to go for the belt, and it's going to be just another fight, man. Yeah, dur. And, I mean, I think Cerrone landed a few decent kicks, but I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I don't think he really landed much. And then Masvidal finished him at the end of the first round, but for whatever reason, the buzzer went off, and I think maybe Herb Dean knew it and decided just to let it go because the buzzer was going to go off. But if there was 3 more seconds in that round, dude, Cerrone was out. He was knocked out. And then Jorge Masvidal, before the second round started, he pointed at Cerrone. He's like, I got you, motherfucker, I got you. And then he proceeded to finish him, dude. And so that was Cerrone's first loss at welterweight, and now that'll bump Masvidal up in the rankings. And so 170. So who should Masvidal fight next? Who would be a good matchup, guys, for Masvidal? Let me think here. I wouldn't mind seeing Masvidal fight a guy maybe Neil Magny. I don't know. Maybe Neil Magny. Oh, dude. Fucking speaking of, I was gonna say Neil Magny fought Hector Lombard, but dude, Hector Lombard is fighting. Who the fuck was Hector Lombard gonna fight? He was going to fight Johnny Hendricks, dude. Okay, Johnny Hendricks, another guy who needs to think about stopping the fighting, dude. I mean, he has missed weight so many times now, and ever since he shaved the beard, he's been losing and been missing weight. And he's going to fight Hector Lombard? Are you kidding me? Now, granted, Hector Lombard, as far as I know, his last fight was Dan Henderson, and he got knocked the fuck out with an elbow. He got a head kick and then elbow action, which no one ever knocked out Hector Lombard except for Dan Henderson. But dude, you're gonna put him against Johnny Hendricks. I don't see Johnny Hendricks beating Hector Lombard. Sorry guys, I'm going for Lombard in that fight. But back to Cerrone and Masvidal, man. Yeah, again, I think Cerrone was taking Masvidal too lightly. And then what I observed in the fight is that once Masvidal started opening up and actually tagging Cerrone and landing actual shots and laying damage on him, Cerrone wasn't fighting back. Like in the second round, I was like yelling at the TV, like, fight back, why aren't you punching? Like, Masvidal's face was even open. It was actually open for shots, and Cerrone was like throwing these, I don't think these punches that were like to get him away. Like they weren't really aggressive punches. They were more like, I guess you'd call them like defensive punches, like not even counter strikes, but like defensive strikes. And it just seemed like once the ass whooping was getting laid on him, like he didn't know what to do. So I guess the way to beat Cerrone is to pressure him. I mean, like that's the way, is you got to pressure the guy, and Masvidal did a wonderful job. And then the fight after that was Shevchenko and Pena. I think was it Jessica Pena and Shevchenko? Pena going into the fight, she's like, I am going to dismantle her. Well, she didn't talk like that, but fuck it. I'm going to dismantle her. I will rip her organs. I will cut her mouth from cheek to cheek. All this shit. I will drag her by her head until her head is gone, until she's decapitated. Like all this brutal shit. And Shevchenko is from, I think, Kyrgyzstan. She's a Soviet, and she's what, a 7-time world Muay Thai champion, and like her like so is her sister. Like her sister's I believe, I could be wrong, but a multiple time Muay Thai champion. And they're like bad motherfuckers. So her striking is unreal. So everybody was thinking like, because Pena has like better grappling, I suppose, and then Shevchenko's known for being an excellent kickboxer, and she is. She's fucking fantastic. If you guys watch her highlights, it's pretty jaw dropping, in fact. And walking out to the octagon, like Pena was all jacked up. She was all like tense and like emotional and shit, like staring at the ground, all like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck this bitch up. And then Shevchenko's walking out to this, I guess, Kyrgyzstani folk music, and not gonna lie, it was pretty terrible music. I was kind of like hoping that they were gonna definitely turn that shit off ASAP. That would have been nice. It was terrible music, but she was just walking out there like all slow and calm, and just like she had not a care in the world, man. And she did excellent in the fight, and she was expected to win. Like if she were to win, then people thought that she would win by a knockout, because she's known for her striking. But no, man, she won by, what was it? She won by armbar, and it was incredible. Like she synced this incredible fucking armbar, and so now, after she won, she's gonna fight Amanda Nunes for the title. And dude, I actually cannot wait for that fight, man. I used to not be into women's MMA. Like I used to not give a fuck, but when I see chicks, these chicks out of the Eastern Bloc, like these chicks from fucking Poland and like Ukraine and Russia and Kyrgyzstan and all this shit, like these bitches are killers. These bitches are fucking murderers, and I mean bitch. I mean bitch in the most respectful way possible. Please don't come kill me. Like Ronda Rousey. Not gonna lie, never was a fan of her. I never watched one of her fights. The only time I ever tuned into a Ronda Rousey fight was when she fought Amanda Nunes on December 30th, and she got fucking she got knocked the fuck out. That's the only time I ever turned into a fight. I was never into women's MMA, pardon me, because I guess they were so grappling centered. There weren't a lot of good strikers, and I like to watch striking mixed in with the grappling more. And but now you got chicks like Holly Holm. What is her? I always fuck her name up. Grenade Durandamy? I always fuck her name up. She's about to fight Holly Holm. She's a multiple time Muay Thai champion. You got chicks like Joanna Jędrzejczyk. You got fucking Shevchenko and all these people, man. So it was good. Good ass fight. And I cannot wait for Nunes versus Pena. But the fight, I didn't see this on TV, but I saw it on YouTube later. And actually, shout out to one of my fans, Les Grossman. He sent me this fight. Dude, Les, you were fucking awesome, dude. This guy, Les, he always sends me like clips of the stream fights so I can watch them for free, and it's fucking awesome. So Les, you can keep on doing that, man. I appreciate it. And send the prelims next time if you can. And if not, it's all good. Just send the main card. But he sent me the video of this guy named Nash and this Chinese dude, Jing Lian, and that was the best fight on the card. That was the equivalent to the Doo Ho Choi versus Cub Swanson. It was the tough ass brawler, like push forward type of white guy versus the versus like the sleek, quicker Asian guy. Except this guy Jingling, like he actually had some pretty good striking. He kept landing this brutal overhand right. Every time Nash would throw a left jab, Jinglian would come over the top of this overhand right and landed it. And I actually, like, that was such a back and forth battle. So if you guys can find it, man, type in UFC Fight Night Nash versus Jinglian, man. So, let's see here. Don't really have much else to say about the fucking UFC. I mean, that was an unexpectedly good card, dude. Unexpectedly good card. So I'm actually about to wrap this shit up. This was definitely a shorter episode. I'm going to be doing an episode soon with some guests in town. I'm actually going to have a buddy of mine, George Lehman, on. George Lehman is an American guy, and he moved here, I think, around a year ago, and I was one of the reasons he moved here, actually. He had seen my videos and liked them and all. And George Lehman at one point had the deadlift record, the, like, American deadlift record. It was like 900 plus pounds, like 912 fucking pounds. And if you see this guy, he's like 6'4", 300 plus pounds, all muscle. He's a professional powerlifter, online coach. He's actually a very interesting guy, very business savvy. He's got a lot of great stories to tell, so I'm definitely excited to have him on the show and talk about some of his things, man. And please, guys, if you want to send me an email, have some fan questions, some viewer questions, I can do a segment at the show. I get emails, but not often enough to have a segment. So again, I am trying to build this show up, so it means that I have to put myself out there and risk people not liking what I'm doing and risk people talking shit. So I'm going to stay strong and keep doing my thing anyways, guys. And I hope I can inspire some to do the same. Anyways, man, my email for the show is thebholeshow@gmail.com. That's THESHOW. I'm sorry, THEBHOLESHOW@gmail.com, thebholeshow@gmail.com. Check me out on Instagram at BraytonLikeSatan, and all my social media contacts will be in the description box below. All right, guys, it's been the B-Hole. I appreciate it. Peace.